Hey guys, Valver here coming at you with some gameplay, but I'm not here to talk about the gameplay actually. I am here to talk about tech choices and the last YCS here. So the first thing let's get the gameplay out of the way. This is a game that I just took on Dueling Network. I'm using the Mandrago deck, and it's really straightforward. And I want to explain something here real quick. I opened a lot of limited cards here at the beginning, well two, and then a card that two cards I only run one of, and one card I only run two of. So the Titanial's really bad start, and then I was gonna go for Formula here by dumping Danny and summoning Global, but then I just then realized after looking at my extra deck that I don't run Formula. So yeah, off to a rough start, but don't judge me. Anyways, so I'm gonna talk about tech choices and stuff that has in main decks and stuff that's been going on in the last couple YCSs. If you guys haven't noticed, and there's something wrong if you haven't, Plant Synchro is dominating everything, and that is for a couple of reasons, but mainly just because it's really that good. And it is I wouldn't go far as to call it tier 0 like Teledad was, but it is pretty good. Definitely in between tier 0 and tier 1. It's better than most other decks. I put tier 1 as Plant Synchro, and then tier 2 is everything else that's coming second at this rate. But I think tiers are, in general, retarded just for that one metaphor. Anyways, if you haven't noticed, Maxx C's been used in practically every deck, and I think most decks, Maxx C is definitely something that you should be maining in at least one, and especially like your decks without a lot of protection. So like if you're playing a really trap heavy deck, then you probably don't need to run Maxx C's because you should have answers for most of the cards. Like, well, I'm not saying Maxx C's a bad card to run in there. I'm just saying you don't need to. But like the decks like that are running 5 to 7 traps, like it's just like Judgment, Double Warning, Dust Shoot, Torrential Mirror Force. That's all your traps, or maybe a call or something. You might want to run some Maxx C's. I mean, Maxx C is a really great hand trap, is like what I call it. I watch WK Dad stuff way too much. He calls it that too. But Valor, Herald, Maxx C, they're all hand traps. They're just they're monsters that you discard from the hand that might as well be trap cards, and they're better than trap cards for that reason usually. And over the last couple YCSs, we've seen the change from everybody maining Valors to everybody maining C's. And why is that? Because Maxx C is an intimidating card. While Valor is an inherent neg 1 and you ditch it to save yourself from something, Maxx C is inherently a neg 1, but if you play it right, it floats into a +1 immediately and puts your opponent in a difficult situation into whether or not they should do more. So it doesn't literally stop them, but it makes them want to stop for fear of what is going to happen. And sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. So like, for example, if it's for game and they sack for Caius and you have something that's over 2400 and this is a do or die situation, obviously you're going to want the Valor. Or if they're sinking for Brio and going, or if they summon Tengu, they remove for Spore, and then they start sinking for Brio and stuff, and they're going to go for game, you obviously don't really want the Valor, even though it's going to stop the Brio. It's not going to stop anything else. But if you drop the C when they remove for Spore, they have that Spore and Tengu sitting on field, and they're in a difficult situation. Do they sink for the Brio, let you draw one off the Brio and then one off the Tengu, or, you know, it puts them in a really difficult situation, and that's why C is better in most situations, because there are more of those difficult situations that come up, and that's also why it's a harder card to use than Effect Valor. Effect Valor is really, it's rather easy to use against most decks. You're like, oh, I should pitch it now. It'll keep me in a good on-field situation, or stuff like that. But C is way more difficult. You have to think about what your opponent could have. You have to make reads that you really couldn't think about before. And that's why Maxx C is such a good card, and that's why you see it being played in all the good decks and all the decks that are topping. As for the deck that just won Kansas City, if you guys don't know, it was a Chaos deck, and I thought of it as, I called it one-of.deck, and it was really sporadic. It mained like a warrior lady, like just one, and a Kaiku, and it was all over the board. I didn't know what to think of it, and most cards it only ran one of, and it was just strange in my opinion. I honestly had no idea what to make of it or what I should do about it, and I don't think that it should be that big of a problem to beat a Chaos deck. But I mean, it won, obviously. Not trying to diss on the guy or anything, but I have no idea why it was that consistent. I am not sure what could be done about Chaos in that sense. I mean, I suppose not a lot of people probably cited Vanity's Emptiness or Light Imprisoning, Shadow Imprisoning, any of those cards against him or stuff like that. The best way to counter it is still up in the air. It's just a very strange situation. So I don't personally like it, but I mean it worked for him. He won the YCS, so that's what it is. What it is, and that's really all there is to it. So if there's anything else besides C as far as tech goes right now, I'm unaware of it. I mean, I've seen a couple of Doom Cows being played. Oh, I want to talk about Debunk real quick. If you guys don't know what that does, it's a counter trap that negates an effect that activates in the hand or graveyard and removes it from play. So it'll hit Spore, Bulb, Tengu, Tengu, Crow, Valor, C. So it's really good. It's really popular, and I think that should be sided in twos in just about every deck. If it's not, then there needs to be a real good reason why. And as far as the tech goes, Gemini Imps inside. I don't consider Gemini Imps a great card, but if you don't have that extra protection, sometimes it's nice. So I realize I talked about Maxx here for most of the videos, so I'll probably continue this as a series and talk about different techs and have an episode for each tech. So that's pretty much all there is to it. And let me know what you guys think about this series. Thank you for your time, and peace.